The reclusive neighbor who vanished and the basement that shouldn't exist. Type, long form. Fleeky script. It started with a door that was never meant to open. You know the type, rusted shut, hidden behind a wall of garden tools, sealed off by time and silence. For years, the house next door was a curiosity to the people who lived nearby. Not because of what happened, but because of what never did. No lights. No visitors. No noise. Just the occasional shadow moving behind drawn curtains, vanishing too quickly to be seen. The man who owned it, nobody really knew his name. He only came out after midnight, gloves on, hood up. No one thought much of it until the packages started piling up at his door. Heavy boxes. Delivered weekly. No return address, no labels. When the neighbor across the street finally got curious enough to walk over and peek between the blinds one afternoon, what he saw didn't make sense. Rooms completely empty. No furniture. No floorboards. Just concrete and stains. But the man hadn't disappeared yet. Not until 2 weeks later, when the mail stopped being collected. The food delivery bags sat there for days, some picked apart by raccoons. That's when the landlord came to inspect. What he found changed the definition of neighbor forever. The house was cold, but not from the weather. The kind of cold that eats at your bones. Like something had been preserved within those walls. The front hallway was lined with mathematical writings, fractals, coordinates, and clock diagrams drawn in chalk all the way up to the ceiling. They led down to a basement staircase that, according to the original floor plans, did not exist. The landlord paused at the top. The air was heavier down there. Like breathing through wet cloth. Still, he descended each step, announcing itself with an echo that didn't fade, like the house was remembering every footfall that crossed it. At the bottom, the basement split into 2 hallways. To the left, a room filled with hundreds of newspaper clippings, all dating back to the late 90s. All identical. All concerning a child who had gone missing from a neighboring city. To the right, a steel door with a manual crank lock. The kind you used to only see in military-grade bunkers. It took the fire department 4 hours to get it open. Behind it, a room. Perfectly square. The walls lined with audio cassette tapes. Thousands of them. Some labeled, some blank. A single reel-to-reel machine sat in the corner. Still humming. Still warm. Playing nothing and everything. When investigators played one of the labeled tapes, what they heard wasn't words. It was breathing. Just breathing. For 92 minutes. One of them recognized the frequency pattern of the breath. It matched that of the missing child from those clippings. A forensic audio analyst confirmed the timestamp on that tape. It had been recorded over 20 years ago. Yet, the tape itself showed no signs of aging. In fact, the materials used to make it weren't in public circulation until 3 years prior. People say the man next door wasn't a man at all, but a custodian. A keeper of things people weren't meant to remember. Inside a locked drawer in the kitchen, they found blueprints. Blueprints for cemeteries that had never been built. Maps of abandoned subway lines not listed in any government archive. But then came the worst part. The part that made one officer quit immediately. They found a journal. Leather bound. Password protected. When decrypted, it contained only names, first names only, but enough to fill 30 pages. All matched to local missing persons cases over 2 decades. Some of them had been resolved, others had not. But 3 names belonged to people who were still living in the neighborhood. People who were still alive. People who remembered nothing of ever being missing. No bodies. No evidence of murder. Just shadows, hiding in places light forgot. The man who lived there was never found. His car remained in the garage. His passport left untouched. His bank accounts frozen with 36 cents inside. No fingerprints matched any known identity. No family ever came forward. And no one knows where he is now. Sometimes, people don't disappear. Sometimes, they just close the door behind them and keep listening from the other side. Follow the quiet signal. Some stories are buried on purpose.